Hi, folks. Yvette Pye here. I've been asked to weigh in on our state of affairs since the vicious murder of Mr. Floyd being crushed like a bug in the streets of our neighboring city. And I have on the radio and in community conversations. So what I want to do today is try to weigh in with a little less passion so that my message actually gets through. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is if Black people could have done anything, and I mean anything, to stop the hemorrhaging of our people, we would have. We would have done it a long time ago. The fact is, we have tried our level best on countless occasions, only to be further marginalized, assassinated, and otherwise killed by lynching and in a number of ways. Our places and spaces have been bombed repeatedly, been bulldozed by those that exercise their power with impunity. This sanctioned marauding has continually brought its full force to bear down on people of color, and it is now clear that it's time to realize enough is enough. What can we do? We can get educated about actual history. History as seen from the lens of African Americans, for example. Native Americans, another good example. Other marginalized groups have a voice. They need to be heard. You need to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind and realize that power out there in the street, we all have to find our inroads to practicing our power. Those in power have an obligation to address our state of affairs. It includes dispelling the myth of race and the reality of racism, so elegantly proposed by Elder Mahmoud El-Khatib. There's only one race, the human race. We can honestly recognize the reality of racism by addressing the fallacy of so-called white supremacy. It was created by Europeans and proliferated throughout the world, and especially here in the United States. It was done out of greed and through oppression. How about reversing the reality of racism that has plagued all of our systems toward addressing and solving the plethora of disparities and closing all of the gaps? Yes, achievement, but the other opportunity gaps abound. We have work to do. We can work to undo racism in all our systems through hiring practices, through promotions, through more diverse pools of employment candidates. How about that? People in power can advocate and practice equity toward addressing racial and economic disparities in practical, concrete ways. How? One way is to seek accountability for bad law enforcement. call for the reallocation and redistribution of funding that policing receives. Our schools are underfunded, and our policing systems, not so much. We can support more equitable and diverse school materials. Good teachers are supplementing the whitewashed curriculum out of their own pockets and time and effort to paint, to tell, to educate in a more inclusive way, because the curriculum is so devoid of accuracy when it comes to people of color and when it comes to history. Sometimes there are outright lies on the pages. We have to support more diversity and equity in schools. And I mean from K through 12 to higher education, in teachers and leadership. That has to happen now. You have the power. Now what you need is the will to make these changes. The will to make these changes. Will is a small word, but it makes all the difference. I'm going to stop for now, because as most of you know, I have a lot to say on these issues. But until we meet again, get to work, do your work.